Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. On the 25-year anniversary of the JonBenet Ramsey case, we look at Boulder PD's response, and this is very recent, to DNA questions. The great thing if you're a proponent of the intruder theory is you can criticize the Boulder PD until the cows come home, and you can expect there to be a sort of consensual silence in lieu of your accusations. Perhaps the fact that Boulder PD aren't saying anything means you've got a point, means you've scored a point. Well, over the past 25 years, it's been open season on the Boulder PD, including in recent weeks with Paula Woodward going onto credible platforms like Dr. Oz with quote-unquote bombshells about police incompetence. It's not really anything new, is it? DNA is the last frontier, it's been claimed. DNA is the key to solving the case, and Boulder PD have the means to solve it. For some crazy reason, they just won't. And then the sound of crickets. In that silence, folks are perhaps supposed to imagine ineptitude and incompetence. Is that the reason Boulder PD won't do what needs to be done? They just won't. They just refuse to do it. Actually, it's not. And I'll leave it for another time to explain why the JonBenet Ramsey case isn't even a DNA case. The good news is, with 2 days to go to the 25-year anniversary, Boulder PD have made a rare exception to their right, or is that obligation, to remain silent. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like, share, leave a comment, and let's get started. So for those of you who don't know me or this channel, who haven't read any of my books, I've written over 101 books, mostly on true crime. 11 of them, believe it or not, on the JonBenet Ramsey case. And I'm going to quickly take you through all 11 books. I think there are 3 trilogies in chronological order. So I obviously have spent a lot of time thinking about the case, researching the case, gathering facts on the case, and on the 25-year anniversary, I felt it's really important to do a little bit of diligence on the case, talking about certain things that haven't been spoken before. And I'm really pleased that the Boulder PD have also, I don't want to say joined the party, but have sort of come forward and not allowed tongues to wag and fingers to wag in lieu of them not saying anything. So according to an article in 9 News, the Boulder Police Department say they are actively reviewing genetic DNA testing processes to see if they can be applied to the case. And this is something that they said Monday, a couple of days ago. According to 9 News, it's been 25 years since 6-year-old JonBenet was found dead in the basement of her family's home on December 26th, the day after Christmas, 1996. Her murderer still hasn't been found. And that is a quote from 9 News. Now, I'm not sure if that last sentence is accurate. I'm not sure if it's accurate to say her murderer still hasn't been found. First of all, if the case went to trial right now, I suspect they'd find JonBenet wasn't intentionally and deliberately murdered, first of all. And intent is a prerequisite for the crime of murder. I'm also not sure it's true to say her killer hasn't been found. You might say if JonBenet wasn't murdered, why is her death listed as a homicide? Just take a look at this press release from the Boulder PD. Why do they list JonBenet's death as a homicide? I think it's a good question, and I think it's worth answering. It may be to protect her killer, especially if by providing a legal disclaimer, her killer's age, identity, and relationship to her might be revealed. Going back to 9 News, in a statement Monday, the department, that's Boulder Police Department, said they have processed more than 1,500 pieces of evidence related to JonBenet's death. That evidence has included the analysis of nearly 1,000 DNA samples, Boulder Police Department said, end quote. And I like the way there are these accusations that, oh no, they're not doing anything with the DNA. And look at how much DNA they've already tested. over or almost 1,000 DNA samples. I think you'll agree with me that far from the Boulder PD having done nothing or not done enough in terms of this case, we've reached a point now of overkill. As early as October 1997, Boulder PD had identified over 1,600 persons of interest. 3 years ago, in 2018, the JonBenet Ramsey case file spanned 60,000 pages. That's according to the Denver Post. Compare that to the Chris Watts case file that's less than 2,000 pages. In the JonBenet Ramsey case, over 21,000 tips have been investigated, and investigators have traveled to 19 states. Over 1,500 samples of evidence have been collected. You might say, yes, but what about the DNA? You might think that with all the work Boulder PD have done and are doing, DNA would simply not be a priority, not be part of the agenda. Of course it is. And this is according to their most recent statement. Came out a few days ago, late December, almost on the 25-year anniversary. Quote, "Thanks to the huge advances in DNA technology, multiple suspects have been run through the system to check for matches. The CBI, that's the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, has updated over 750 reference samples with the latest DNA technology. The Boulder Police Department works closely with the CBI on future DNA advancements. Additionally, Boulder PD have worked with CBI to ensure the DNA in the system can be compared correctly to new DNA samples that have been uploaded to ensure accuracy. That DNA is checked regularly for any new matches. As the department continues to use new technology to enhance the investigation, it is actively reviewing genetic DNA testing processes to see if those can be applied to this case moving forward." End quote. Now, what I think is quite interesting is you have this legacy in the JonBenet Ramsey case that there was police incompetence, that there wasn't a single homicide detective in the department, and that the department was hamstrung in this way or that way, or whatever. I don't think you can make that comment forever. I don't think you can, till the end of time, say that Boulder PD are inept or incompetent. Somewhere along the line, Boulder PD have gotten to become more and more competent and have gotten more and more experts. And certainly the JonBenet Ramsey case has been a huge boost to the competence of that department. So I don't think you can say the competence of the Boulder Police Department today is the competence of the Boulder Police Department 25 years ago. I also don't think you could say the competence 5 years after the death of JonBenet was the same. It wasn't. It changed. It improved. I also think the fact that the JonBenet Ramsey case is unsolved, linking that to the quote-unquote competence of Boulder PD, is a myth. It's quite a clever myth because it feels like it's true. It feels like it makes sense, but it's not if you really think about it. Now, for the 25th anniversary, I'd hoped to publish Christmas Star 2, the second book in that trilogy, and it would have been my 12th book on the JonBenet Ramsey case. I also wanted to deal with the Ramsey home, room by room, using rare video footage, schematics, and photos not often seen, and to bring to the fore other things not yet discussed in detail by anyone, to bring this case to life in a way that's never happened before. Alas, unfortunately, or fortunately for some, 2021 has been an incredibly busy year in terms of true crime. After the great tsunami that was the Petito case rumbled into the near distance, the Alec Baldwin case has become super high profile. If I wasn't dealing with these cases, I would have been dealing with the JonBenet Ramsey case. And so many of my best laid plans, not only in terms of this case, but many others, were washed away. What I do hope to do is begin narrating The Craven Silence 3 before Christmas, and also do a 25th anniversary episode on some of the reading material that has been speculated to be in the Ramsey home, but never proven. And no, it's not Mindhunter. I'd also like to do, and I remember I wanted to do this a couple of months ago, John Fernie's statements on the ransom note. That's something I meant to do a video on, and for whatever reason I just got taken, other cases took over that. So that is another thing I'd like to touch on. No promises, but I may do a live in the next few days covering some of these tangents, I guess, some of the reading materials that I've mentioned, and who knows, I might do a follow-up if there's enough interest. I also want to do a separate episode where I just want to emphasize why the JonBenet Ramsey case isn't a DNA case. And to state that is like waving a false flag. So I'm not going to take it further than that. I would be interested to see how many of you disagree with this idea that JonBenet Ramsey wasn't murdered. I've got an idea some of you will be flabbergasted at those words. I'd just like to see what some of you guys say about that. And you've got to remember the legal definition when you think about it in those terms. But the media has been referring to it, defining it as the murder of JonBenet Ramsey for the past 25 years, and perhaps that is part of the problem. Thank you for listening, and as we play out on the 25-year anniversary, there's not going to be an end credit jingle. There's just going to be the silence that is associated with this case, the craven silence.